Hi, we're here at Montgomery Community Media's Studio B, talking with Tom Ferleman about his bid for the 2nd District seat in the County Council. Jobs is one of the issues that you highlight on your website.
Yeah.
Talk about that, please.
You know, every morning, hundreds of thousands of people crawl down 270 for jobs in Virginia and DC. Just today, 270 southbound was closed at 118. A trip that should only take 30 minutes can take upwards of 2 hours. That's life, that's time people are taking away from their families. That's a quality of life issue. You know, you have to ask yourself, why is that happening? When I grew up, we were always considered one of the most economically prosperous communities in the entire nation. Our transportation was second to none, and our schools were always ranked #1. Today, things have changed. We're not in those categories anymore. And so, you know, I look to what the County Council has chosen to do to rectify these issues, or not. And their solution was to raise property taxes, and not just a little, dramatic 8.7%. And then on top of that, to increase the recordation tax, a tax for buying and selling your home. I mean, who does that? That's counter to caring for people. When people are struggling to make ends meet, the last thing you want to do is to take more money from them. And so we're focused on bringing those jobs home. If you look at the Bureau of Labor Statistics, look at the US Census, you look at the state records, and even Montgomery County's open government records, you'll find that in Germantown, 1,200 jobs have been lost in the last 3 years. 3% of women have lost their jobs in Montgomery Village. Bureau of Labor Statistics maintains a leading indicator that measures wages and labor. And when the economy was booming, that indicator went up. And when it started declining and the banks went bust and we bailed out the banks, it hit rock bottom, and then it recovered. All across the nation, our friends across the river are booming. Now that leading indicator is declining in Montgomery County, and it's back down to recession levels. That's not the case in Fairfax and Arlington County. It's not the case in Howard County. That's here. And the reason it is because the County Council has chosen anti-business policies, which I plan to roll back.
Anti-business policies as in the taxes. You would roll back the taxes. Where would the cuts come from?
So there's a couple of things. When I define rollback taxes, businesses can plan for increased costs. They can plan for increased fees. They may not want the taxes, but they can plan for it. The one thing business can't plan for is time. Time that is not defined by them. In most municipalities where land is pre-zoned, pre-approved for whatever construction might happen on that land, it takes about 10 to 18 months from groundbreaking to the end of development, somewhere in that cycle. In Montgomery County, it's 3 years. Now, if you're a small business owner, you got a couple $1 million for whatever reason, and you want to build maybe a few houses, or you want to build an apartment, or you want to build an office building. You're just a small business owner trying to make ends meet and trying to be successful. How do you hold that money in reserve for 3 years without making profit off of it? You can't. So those businesses find other places to invest, and not in our community. So we need to change the permitting and licensing and processing time. I talked to one developer. He says, Tom, all I do is move dirt. That's my job, I move dirt. He said, we were going to leave the state until Larry Hogan was elected. As it is, we've left Montgomery County. We're up in Frederick now because it costs too much for us to be here. If you went to the developer of the Clarksburg outlets, he will tell you Montgomery County is the worst municipality to work with, bar none, nationwide. That's unacceptable. We can't grow businesses. So why do we have to grow businesses, and why do we have to manage these issues? I think that's a fair question you're probably itching to ask. In most communities, the balance of taxable revenue is about an 80-40, or a 60-40 split. I met with the Montgomery County Office of our Economic Development Corporation, and they agreed with me that a 60-40 split is about normal. 60% residential taxes, 40% commercial. or vice versa. We'll probably always be a residentially heavy tax revenue base. But in Montgomery County, that's not the case for us. For us, it's an 80-20 split. 80% of our taxable revenue comes from residential. That's an imbalance. That's unnatural to our communities. That's putting the burden of our community on the backs of families. So I plan to change that. It's hard. It's a hard thing. But we elect representatives to do hard things for us. So I plan to roll back tax increases. If you take a look at my website, you'll find a 5-point plan for that. I plan to bring jobs home and improve transportation.
Thank you for answering our questions. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for watching. This has been a Montgomery Community Media exclusive.